So what kind of tools do you need to buy if you are planning to do some work on your own bike? Well, actually what you don't need is the full shooting match like this, although it's very, very nice to have it there. You can put together a very useful toolkit from a much smaller selection than this, and here I've got a few examples of the kind of things that you might want to think about buying. Hammers, for example, come in lots of different variants. We've got a conventional hammer there, but this one has a copper head and a hide head, which is very useful for tapping things like engine components when you're building engines and putting things together. It's also very useful for tapping in wheel spindles without damaging them. For just the basic servicing jobs, a much smaller selection, something like this, would probably suffice for most of the things that you actually need to do. Obviously, an adjustable spanner is very, very useful for the size that you need occasionally and you remember that you haven't bought. If you only have to buy one socket set, the 3/8 drive is probably the one to go for, and you can get a nice selection of sockets like that to go with it. That will also give you, of course, a spark plug spanner, and that usually comes with a 3/8 drive too. Screwdrivers are very useful things, and you'll find there are two different types of screwdriver fittings used on most bikes. The ordinary flathead one and the crosspoint one, and if you're buying these, do beware that these are different to the types of screwdrivers you use on wood screws for domestic DIY work. They're not the same. Also, spanners come in lots of different varieties too, and I found that one of the best ones to use is a ring spanner with an open ender at the other side, and that's quite versatile and quite useful. And the final tip for playing with those messy fluids like putting oil into the engine, a common garden domestic plastic funnel is a very, very useful thing to have too.